Om Tava Kathamritam Tapta Jeevanam Kavibhirididam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Srimadatam Bhuvi Te Bhurita Janaha. O Lord, your words, like sweet nectar, refresh the afflicted. Your words, which poets have sung in verses, vanquish the sins of the worldly. Blessed are they who hear of you, and blessed indeed are they who speak of you. How great is their reward. A happy Father's Day for all the fathers. Today we are still continuing chapter 32 of the Gospel, visit to Sinthi Brahmo Samaj. Sri Ramakrishna had been talking with the devotees. While they were talking, Benipal, their host, entered the room. Benipal to Vijay Krishna Goswami. Sir, please get up. It's already late. Please begin the worship. Vijay Krishna Goswami is so immersed, engrossed in talking with Sri Ramakrishna that he is not getting to do he is supposed to do the stars, so the worship. So Benipal is reminding, it's already late. Vijay, what further need is there of worship? I find that according to your arrangements, the rice pudding is served first and then the soup and other dishes. First, we are hearing all the advices and instructions from Sri Ramakrishna. Now you want to do the worship. That's why he's saying everything is opposite way. First, all the sweet dishes and then just soup and other dishes. Master with a smile. The devotees provide offerings according to their temperaments. The Sattvic devotee offers the deity simple rice pudding. The Rajasic devotee, 50 different dishes. The Tamasic devotee slaughters goats and other animals. See, their worship also depends upon the temperament of the devotee. As earlier Sri Ramakrishna said, how they do their spiritual practices. The Sattvic devotee, Sri Ramakrishna says, Sattvic devotee does his meditation and japa in the room, and because he comes out of the room much later in the day, people think that, oh, he is sleeping late into in the morning, whereas he is doing his meditation. Rajasic devotee makes a big show, and Sri Ramakrishna describes how he will put on a silk cloth and then will have his beads, Rudraksha beads, interspersed with gold beads, all that. And Tamasic devotee, all demand, cut, kill, catch that, and they have with meat and alcohol, they worship Mother, the Divine Mother. So the devotees provide offerings according to their temperament. The Sattvic devotee offers the deity simple rice pudding. The Rajasic devotee, 50 different dishes, want to show off. And the Tamasic devotee slaughters goats and other animals. Vijay began to hesitate about going to the platform to conduct the worship. He said to the master, I shall conduct the worship from the platform only if you give your blessings. Now all the Brahmo devotees were listening to Sri Ramakrishna, and now Vijay has asked to go and do the worship, and along with the worship there is some sermon also, so he is feeling a bit embarrassed. So he's telling, I shall conduct the worship if you give your blessing, Master. It will be all right if you don't feel any egotism. If you don't have the vain feeling, I'm giving a lecture, listen to me. What begets egotism? Knowledge or ignorance? It is only the humble man who attains knowledge. In a low place, rainwater collects. it runs down from a mount. A man achieves neither knowledge nor liberation as long as he has egotism. He comes back again and again to the world. The calf bellows, hamba, hamba. That is I. That is why it suffers such agony. The butcher slaughters it, and the shoemaker makes shoe from its hide. Besides, its hide is used for the drum, which is beaten mercilessly. Still no end to its misery. At long last, a carding machine is made from its entrails. While carding the cotton, the machine makes a sound tuhu tuhu, that is thou thou. Then the poor calf is released from all suffering. It no longer says hamba hamba, but repeats tuhu tuhu. The calf says, as it were, O God, thou art the doer, and I am nothing. Thou art the operator, and I am the machine. Thou art everything. So, here Sri Ramakrishna says, it's only the humble man who attains knowledge. It will be all right if you don't feel egotism. If you don't have the vain feeling, I am giving a lecture. The humble man attains knowledge. With humility comes the idea that everything is done by the will of God. We are not doing anything. We are just the instruments in the hands of God. That idea comes when there is humility, when the person is humble. Humility does not mean allowing other people to walk over you. No, it's not. That's not humility. Humility, the really humble person is strong. When he or she has to take a stand, they will be able to against some injustice. That it is really mentally very strong person can only be a really humble person, and that person will have the feeling, the idea that everything is done by the will of God, and that person is only an instrument in the hand of God. To explain that, Sri Ramakrishna is giving the example of the calf. As long as it says I, the misery, suffering is going on. Till it says thou, not I, but thou. Then everything is you. You are the machine. You are the operator. I am the machine. I do as you make me do. So I don't have any individual will. I'm not doing anything. Then the vanity, egotism won't be there. 3 words, master, teacher, and father, prick me like thorns. I am the son of God, his eternal child. How can I be a father? God alone is the master, and I am his instrument. He is the operator, and I am the machine. So, 3 words, master, teacher, and father. Sri Ramakrishna could not bear to have this. So if anybody calls him guru or teacher, he will say, I'm not the teacher, I'm the child of God. Satchitananda, God alone is the teacher. If somebody addresses me as guru, I say to him, go away, you fool. How can I be a teacher? There is no teacher except Satchitananda. There is no refuge except him. He alone is the ferryman to take one across the ocean of the world. Satchitananda, supreme existence, knowledge, bliss. That's the only teacher. Then what about the human teachers we have? We have got our gurus. We have got our guru who has given us initiation in the spiritual life. What about those people? Sri Ramakrishna says they are only the channels. The real guru is Satchitananda, God. The guru, human guru, is just a channel through which the power of God comes to us. For God has taken that particular form for our sake. That's the idea Sri Ramakrishna gives. To Vijay, it's very difficult to act as an acharya. It harms the acharya himself. Finding a number of men doing him reverence, he sits erect, crossing his legs, and says proudly, I am preaching. Hear you all. This is a very bad attitude. He gets a little prestige and it ends there. People will say at most, Vijay Babu has spoken very well. He knows a great deal. Never cherish the attitude, I am preaching. I always say to the Divine Mother, O Mother, thou art the operator and I am the machine. I do as thou makest me do. I speak as thou makest me speak. See, it's very hard to be a teacher. First, after saying there is no teacher except Satchitananda, then Sri Ramakrishna says, because Satchitananda is the one who is taking us across the ocean of this world. Human teachers cannot do that. If human teacher or guru helps us, it is God's power manifesting through that person. That is all. Sometimes we may say, no, sometimes people have got the tendency compare the gurus. Oh, my guru is greater, your guru is not so great. Who are you to, how can you compare? Have you reached that stage? We are small ants crawling on the ground and you are trying to judge or compare the heights of Everest and another big peak. How can you? When you reach that height, then you can compare, not before that. And again, channels may be imperfect. There may be some dirt in the channel, but that does not mean that affects the flow of water through the channel. There may be a stone sticking into the pipe, so the water may be only trickling. In another pipe, the pipe is clear. There's nothing, no obstructions. The water will be flowing much in a good way, but that does not affect the water. The water is the same. The power that comes through the human guru comes from God. And God is perfect. So channels may be imperfect, but that does not affect the flow of that grace. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says, my teacher may be going to the pub, but for me, my teacher is God. Because the blessings, the grace comes from God. To Vijay, it's very difficult to act as an Acharya. It harms the Acharya himself. Why is it, Sri Ramakrishna says, why is it so difficult? You see so many teachers. Because seeing people paying, you give a good lecture, people say, oh, you have spoken very well. And then you get proud, oh, I am a great speaker, wonderful speaker. But people will hear it, and then after a few days, they forget. You ask, what did you hear? Oh, how was the lecture? It was very good. What did the person say? No idea. Because he heard through one ear and got out to the other one. Nothing has been stayed in the brain. If a real teacher, Sri Ramakrishna says a person can be a teacher, a guru, if there's a command from God. Then such teachings will stay forever. They don't be forgotten. Ordinary teachers, people hear, they don't act on those instructions, and after some time they forget. But a real teacher, great teacher who has got a command from God, their words will be remembered. People act on those words. Swami Vivekananda was one such teacher. Not that just the teachers get through their spiritual practices, experiences, and insight, they get strength to inspire people. And in the case of Swami Vivekananda, he had a written command. Sri Ramakrishna wrote on a piece of paper, Naren will teach. And of course, Naren protested, I won't do anything. I'm not going to do any of those things. Then Sri Ramakrishna said, your very bones will make you do it. You cannot avoid it. You have to do it. And he did that. And what did he, when after his lectures in the, within a few, what's that, first lecture, in lectures in the Parliament of Religions, the newspapers saying he's an orator by divine right. That is, he said even he had written command from God. You will teach people. And that teaching is continuing. See, these great teachers' instructions, those teachers who have got command from God, that's like a ray of beam of light. Starts in a small point and then it goes on spreading. For thousands of years it will spread. The teachings of Sri Krishna, Jesus, Buddha, how many hundreds of thousands of years are gone? It's still continuing. So that is, they are real teachers. Others, people hear for a few days, then forget. And again he says, it harms the Acharya himself. Finding a number of men doing him reverence, he sits erect, crossing his legs, and says proudly, I am preaching. Hear you all. Hey, listen to me. I'm instructing you. There's a funny incident. Swami Yatishananda, a really great monk, he was in charge of, he was the vice president of the Ramakrishna Math Mission, and he was in charge of Bangalore Ramakrishna Math. So a lot of devotees in Bangalore, is a huge number of devotees are there. They used to come and do pranam. Then as he was getting old, he had swelling on the legs. Then one day he was jokingly saying, telling his assistant monk, see, look at the swelling on my leg. All the pranams are, I'm taking all the pranams, so my legs are getting swollen. Then the assistant monk said, Maharaj, it is good, your legs are swelling, not the head. Ordinary people, you get the pranam, they goes to the head and head swells up. Whereas, your case, it's only staying at the feet only. So that's why it's very hard. It's very harm the teacher, because you think, oh, I'm such a great teacher. Everybody's showing me respect. It's only for a few days. Afterwards, nobody remembers. I am preaching, hear you all. This is a very bad attitude. He gets a little prestige and it ends there. People will say at the most, Vijay Babu has spoken very well. He knows a great deal. Never cherish the attitude, I am preaching. I always say to the Divine Mother, O Mother, thou art the operator and I am the machine. I do as thou makest me do. I speak as thou makest me speak. Another incident from the life of Swami Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda asked him to go to Madras, in the present Chennai, to start a center there, because Swamiji had promised the Madras devotees that he will send one of his brother disciples to start a center there. And Swami Ramakrishna had to give a lot of classes, take lectures, classes and everything. One day, one of the young monks, brahmachari, a young monk, his assistant, overheard him standing in front of Swamiji's photograph with folded hands. He is praying, brother, please see that no egotism come to my mind. I am doing your work. See, this is, I am the operator, you are the operator, I am just a machine. That idea should be there. Then there is no problem. Otherwise, if you think that, oh, I am teaching, I am giving all you instructions, you listen to me, then it goes to the head. I always say to the mother, Mother, thou art the operator, I am the machine. I do as thou makest me do. I speak as thou makest me speak. Vijay humbly, please give me your permission. Only then will I sit on the platform. Master with a smile, what shall I say? Pray to God yourself. He belongs to all, even as Uncle Moon. even as Uncle Moon is the uncle of all children. You have nothing to fear if you are sincere. So Sri Ramakrishna doesn't want to say, all right, go and speak, but he so says, you pray to yourself. You pray to God yourself. Because God is accessible to everybody. It's not that God will listen to only particular people. No, God will listen to everybody if you are sincere. And so the example he is giving is, Uncle Moon is everybody's uncle. All children call the moon uncle. In Indian language, they call Chandamama, Uncle Moon. Everybody, the moon is everybody's uncle. So you have nothing to fear if you are sincere. On being further requested by Vijay, the master said, yes, go, follow the rules. Everything is all right if one has sincere love for God. Again, Vijay requested, please give me permission. So all Sri Ramakrishna said, all right, go and give, because you have to follow the rules. This is a rule that they have to have the worship and sermon. You go, do it. Everything will be all right if one has sincere love for God. Vijay sat on the platform and conducted the worship according to the rules of the Brahmo Samaj. At the time of prayer, he repeatedly called on Mother, touching the hearts of all. After the worship, their host entertained the master and the devotees with a sumptuous feast. Without feasting, there can be no celebration. This is the semi-annual festival of the Brahma Samaj. So there has to be a big feast. Vijay Benipal entertained them all, Sri Ramakrishna and all the devotees, with a sumptuous feast. Soon they were ready to return home. Sri Ramakrishna became engaged in conversation with Vijay, no one else but M being present. Master, you pray to God, addressing him as Mother. That is very good. People say that the mother's attachment to the child is stronger than the father's. A son can force his demand on his mother, but not on his father. Once cartloads of money were coming from the estate of Trilokya's mother. They were guarded by many red-turbaned stalwarts armed with big sticks. Trilokya, who had been waiting on the road with his men, pounced upon the money and took it away by force. A son has a very strong claim on his mother's wealth. People say that a mother cannot very well sue her son in a court of law. So, addressing God as Mother is very good. And Sri Ramakrishna says that is the last word in spiritual practice. When we pray to God, we have to assume some sort of human relationship. Then we can, if we want to go close to God, closer and closer to God, then we assume some sort of relationship. So in Hinduism, we have got so many different attitudes. All the human relation that we have in ordinary life, we assume towards God. Father, mother, child, friend, master and servant, then husband and wife, lover and beloved. All these different attitudes we can assume towards God. And among all, the attitude of looking upon God as Mother is the best, Sri Ramakrishna says. Because mother's love is the most unselfish. and people say that mother's attachment to the child is stronger than the father's. Today's Father's Day, but I have to say, read the words of Sri Ramakrishna, mother's love is greater than the father's attachment. Mother's attachment is greater than the father's. And a son can force his demand on his mother, but not on the father. Whatever be the little child, whatever be the mother doing, if it screams at the top of the voice, mother will put away whatever the work she is doing and come and take on her lap. But to the father, the child has to wait father's time. Swami Buddhananda, in his article on, is a book, Holy Mother, the Great Wonder. Towards the end of the book, there are a few articles written by Swami Buddhananda, who was the secretary of Delhi's Ramakrishna Mission. And in that, one of the articles, he says, suppose the father has come back from the office, and a toddler runs to him. He will shout at his wife, take the child away, because father is tired. Now he finishes his bath, has his meal, and now he is ready for the child. Maybe it's time for the child to sleep, but no, it's father's time. The child has to entertain the father. But whereas mother, whatever, it's child's time, not the mother's time. So talking about Holy Mother, he was saying, so we can make any demands on mother. A son can force his demand on his mother, but not on his father. And to give an example, he's saying about Trilokya. Trilokya was the grandson of Mathur Babu. Once cartloads of money were coming from the estate of Trilokya's mother. Now money is coming, it's cash. So there's guards guarding that. They were guarded by many red turban stalwarts armed with big sticks. Trilokya, who had been waiting on the road with his men, pounced upon the money and took it away by force. Now what can you do? What the mother do? It's his son has taken, can't do anything. A son has a very strong claim on his mother's wealth. Vijay, if Brahman is our mother, then has it any form or is it formless? Now, you have to remember Brahmo Samaj people, they worship Brahman, formless aspect of God. But then for them it is formless, but there are attributes, or what you call Saguna Brahman. And we here see that Keshav-Chandra Sasena, after coming to Sri Ramakrishna, also got the idea of Divine Mother. He said the power of Brahman, and he started using the idea of praying to Mother also. That's why Vijay Krishna Goswami, in his service worship, when he was addressing praying, he used the word Mother, repeatedly called on Mother. So Vijay is asking, if Brahman is our mother, then has it any form or is it formless? If you think about mother, how can you think about with formless aspect? Or when you say mother, always we have some idea of some form. Master, that which is Brahman is also Kali, the mother, the primal energy. When inactive, it's called Brahman. Again, when creating, preserving, and destroying, it's called Shakti. Still water is an illustration of Brahman. The same water moving in waves may be compared to Shakti, Kali. What's the meaning of Kali? She who communes with Mahakala, the Absolute, is Kali. She is formless, and again she has form. See, that which is Brahman is also Kali, the mother, the primal energy. Same entity, two names. And again, when it is inactive, we call it Brahman. When engaged in the acts of creation, sustenance, or preservation and destruction, we call it Kali, the Divine Mother, Shakti. So it is like the same energy, potential form, Brahman, no action, nothing. And that is why in the Kali image, we see Shiva lying down like a dead body, prostrate, no action. And Kali is standing on, Divine Mother, the Shakti, the power of the Brahman. When there is activity, creation, preservation, destruction, there are all activities. That's kinetic energy. And Brahman is potential energy. There's no action there. still water is an illustration of Brahman. There's no movement. Water is placid. There's no waves, nothing. Still water is the illustration of Brahman. The same water moving in waves may be compared to Shakti. Where did the waves come from? From that still water. So where did Shakti come from? From Brahman. Kali comes from Brahman. They are not two separate entities. The same water moving in waves may be compared to Shakti, Kali. What is the meaning of Kali? She who communes with Mahakala, the Absolute, is Kali. She is formless, and again she has forms. We can think of Kali as formless as well as with form. So there is one, Sri Ramakrishna says, one person, one devotee, wanted to see whether Kali has got any form. Is Kali Jagannath? God has form or formless. So this particular devotee has gone to Jagannath Puri Jagannath temple. So he had his stick, danda, that's a ascetic, and he went up to Jagannath and passed the stick against the image. So it should hit the image. No, it just went through. So that means God is formless. Then he brought it back, it hit the image. Didn't go through. That means God is form. So same image, he is not seeing or not just the image, but because he was a great higher advanced devotee, in spiritual aspirant, he could realize that God is with form and without form. When the stick went through, there's no form. They know God is formless. And again, God is with form. So Kali you can meditate on Kali as formless or with form. If you believe in the formless aspect, then meditate on Kali as that. If you meditate on any aspect of her with firm conviction, she will let you know her true nature. If Kali is formless and with form, which one should we take? Which one should we meditate on? Sri Ramakrishna says, on any aspect that you like, meditate on that with firm conviction, with sincerity. Then she herself will let you know or understand what her real nature is. We can understand God according to our limited understanding. How much can we understand? As Sri Ramakrishna says, how much can you measure the ocean with your little measuring cup? Can you find out the amount of water in the ocean or the vastness of the ocean using the small measuring cup? Our mind is like that, the small measuring cup. How can you understand the vastness of God in the infinitude of God? But if you are sincere and pray to God on fixing our mind on the one particular aspect that we like, then God himself will reveal to us his true nature. Whatever we need, God will reveal that much. If you meditate on any aspect of her with firm conviction, that's the important thing. You're not just meditating on one aspect for some days and then go to the other aspect, because I want to know everything. So I'll meditate on one aspect today or for a week and then go to the next other aspect. No, that you won't do. Meditate on one aspect with firm conviction. Then she will reveal her real nature. Then you will realize that not merely does God exist, but he will come near you and talk to you as I'm talking to you. God, we say God exists, but really, do we really believe that God exists? We don't have that deep conviction. We don't have. There's an interesting story that Sri Ramakrishna used to say. a milkmaid used to deliver milk to a priest. Now she was living on the other side of the river, and she has to cross the river to come to deliver the milk. Often there is no, the boatman is late, he overslept. So she has to wait for the boatman to take her across the river. And then one day, after a few days, her coming late, the priest got annoyed. Why are you so late? She said, what can you do, sir? I had to wait for the ferryman to come. What? You can't cross this small river, river. Then how will you cross the ocean of this world? She got frightened. What is this crossing the ocean of the world? She had no idea. God's name takes you across the ocean of the world, and this river you can't cross. Then she went away. And then the next day, the milk came in time. The day after. No, every day milk is coming in time. So one day he asked, now you have no problem with the ferryman, he comes every day in time? No, I don't wait for the ferryman. Then how do you come? You told me, you gave me the method. What did I tell? You asked me to take the name and God, and you can cross across the ocean of samsara, the world. Then what about this river? Nothing. He couldn't believe. What did I say? So, can you show me how you cross the river? So the pandit, the priest came with her to the river, and she came to the river, just chanting the name of God. She just walked across the river over the water. She was on the other side of the river, and the priest followed, and he was chanting the name. The water is coming up to the knee. He started pulling up his clothes. Then after some time, she looked back. Sir, you are chanting the name and God and pulling up your clothes. Because he didn't have the conviction. She had the conviction. You chant the name of God, you can cross the ocean of samsara, worldly existence. What about this small river? But he just said, as we said earlier, and about the teachers. He didn't have the conviction. He just taught a parrot like what scriptures say. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says conviction. Have faith. If you meditate on any aspect of her with firm conviction, she will let you know her true nature. Then you will realize that not merely does God exist, but he will come near you and talk to you as I'm talking to you. Have faith and you will achieve everything. That faith is needed. That firm conviction is needed. We have belief. We read, we hear, God exists, God comes to us. So we have a bit of belief, that's all. But not that firm conviction. If the firm conviction is there, then we won't be worried or upset whatever happens to us, because we know everything comes from God. That conviction we don't have. That we have to develop. Firm faith and conviction. And faith is conviction. Otherwise, it is only belief. Belief becomes faith through testing, personal experience, and that becomes conviction. Then when we have the personal experience and conviction, nothing can change. No, nothing can shake that. That is faith. However much and somebody else argues with you or tells you, no, that's not correct. Now you will say, no, I know. I have experienced it. My personal experience, I know. Nothing can shake my faith. Have faith and you will achieve everything. We say faith moves mountains. But that's all. For us, it is only words. It doesn't have any meaning. Remember these two. If you believe that God is formless, then stick to that belief with firm conviction. Because they are Brahmos and they have the idea God is formless. Fine. Stick to that with firm conviction, God is formless. But don't be dogmatic. Never say emphatically about God that he can be only this and not that. You may say, I believe that God is formless, but he can be many things more. He alone knows what else he can be. I do not know. I do not understand. We can say, this is what I understand. My understanding of God is this. So Ramakrishna says, don't be dogmatic. Never say emphatically that he can be only this and not that. Often we see the fanatic saying, what I do, the form of God I believe, that's the only form. Everything else is false. Everything else is unreal, not true. No, don't say that, because God can be is much greater than anybody's understanding. How can we understand God, the real nature of God, with our little puny intellect? We can't. Don't you may say, I believe that God is formless, but he can be many things more. He alone knows what else he can be. I do not know. I do not understand. We can say, this is the aspect I like, and that is suitable for me. Whether it's suitable for you, I do not know. Whether there are other forms are there, which you may be able to appreciate, which you will be suitable for you, I do not know. Because God is infinite. How can we measure God with our tiny measuring glass? How can man, with his 1 ounce of intelligence, know the real nature of God? Can you put 4 sers of milk in a 1 ser jar? If God, through his grace, ever reveals himself to his devotee and makes him understand, then he will know, but not otherwise. Our understanding is limited. Even the great souls who have realized God, they spend a lifetime on trying to realize God in one aspect, and that they teach. But God has got many different aspects are there. How can we know with our little intelligence all the different aspects and say what I understand is the only correct way? That is a dogmatic religion. And that is the cause of all the fights among different religions. People always say, oh, religion is the cause of all the conflicts in the world, or most of the conflicts in the world. This understanding of religion is that. But understand only one aspect and say that is the only true aspect. That is like saying everybody should wear my size of coat. A person may be fat, a person may be thinner than me, but no, everybody, this is the only real size, mine is the only real size, everybody should wear this. That's similar thing. Everybody should follow my religion, everything else is wrong. No, there are different religion, different aspects of God suitable for different temperaments. Sri Ramakrishna could say that with firm authority because he had practiced all the different aspects. All the different aspects of God, which he was exposed to at that time, he practiced it and he realized that all of them lead to the same goal. They all lead to God. There's only one God. There is no Hindu God, Christian God, Muslim God. No. God is only one. And all the different paths, aspects, they are aspects of God. They all lead to the same goal. And that's why Sri Ramakrishna was able to say, as many faiths, so many paths. We have this idea from the Vedic time. Ekam sat vipra bahudha vadandi. But it remained in the scriptures and known only to the scholars. But the scholars also didn't spread the idea and were liberal enough. Maybe they had practiced only the one aspect. And then how can they say all are true? Though Veda says, Unless you practice and realize all are true, how can he say all the paths are true, leading to the same God? Sri Ramakrishna could say because he had practiced all the different practices of Hinduism, Christianity, Islam. That was the only available. He was not exposed to Judaism or Zoroastrianism. So he practiced, and he came to the realization that all lead to same goal, all lead to God. And whatever path you follow, the important thing is realize God. Because once you reach the top of the mountain, you will see all the different paths. From the top, you can look down and see all the different paths people coming on different routes. Then you will realize that all these people coming on different routes reach here. But we fight because we are on the path. We haven't reached the top. We haven't reached the peak of the mountain. And then we fight. Oh no, this is the only, you have to take this route. Only then you will reach the peak. And others will say, no, this is the only route to the peak. Once you reach there, then you find they're all different paths. Everybody will come on the peak. And the very fact that we are fighting with others on the path shows that we are not really sincere in following our path. If we are sincerely following our path, we'll try to reach the peak instead of fighting with others. And we won't have time to fight with others because all the time and energy will be spent on our practice to reach the goal. Once Rabia, the Sufi saint, was asked, Rabia, do you love God? Of course I love God. So that means you hate Satan? She said, no, I don't have any time. I'm fully occupied with loving God. There's no time to hate Satan. So the very fact that people fight in the name of religion shows that they are not sincerely following their path. If they sincerely follow their path, there is no time left for fighting with others, criticizing others, finding fault with others. If God, through His grace, ever reveals Himself to His devotee and makes him understand, then he will know, not otherwise. We can know God only through His grace. Then what is the point of doing all these spiritual practices? All the teachers ask us to do spiritual practices, continue practice. Then what's the need for practice if God can be realized only through His grace? The spiritual practices makes our heart pure, your mind pure, so that we will be able to receive grace. We become grace worthy. Then through God's grace, we will be able to realize Him. It's like the glass of the window or the mirror, completely covered with dirt and dust. Then there is no reflection, no light coming through the window, or you cannot see the reflection on the mirror. So they have to clean the mirror. Only then you can see the reflection. Clean the window, only then light will come inside. All the spiritual practices is cleaning the mirror or the mind, or cleaning the glass of the window of the mind. Then we can God will reveal Himself. That which is Brahman is Shakti. And that again is Mother. He it is, says Ramprasad, that I approach as Mother. But must I give away the secret here in the marketplace? From the hints I have given, O mind, guess what that being is. This is a translation of a song that by Ramprasad, one of the great mystic. Ramprasad implies that he has known the truth of Brahman. He addresses Brahman as Mother. Once you have realized what Brahman is, then You can call it as Brahman or as mother. And some of the mystics love to call Brahman as mother because mother is an object of affection, adoration. Some formless, nameless, attributeless, abstract entity, how can you love that? You cannot love that. You cannot call it, it is it, not he or she, something it. How can you, we have no idea what it is. We cannot grasp it with the mind. Then how can you love it? No, we can't. So we address that same entity as mother. We give a form, a name, and address it as mother, and then we can love and we can feel close. Ram Prasad implies that he has known the truth of Brahman. He addresses Brahman as mother. Ram Prasad was a great mystic poet, and there are beautiful songs of Ram Prasad on Mother Kali. Sometimes Ram Prasad fights with mother. You have to do this. Otherwise I'll take you to the court. And which court? Court of Shiva. I'll take you to the court. He threatens. All this. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says you can make demands on mother. Ram Prasad, in another song, Ram Prasad expresses the same idea thus. Knowing the secret that Kali is one with the highest Brahman, I have discarded once for all both dharma and adharma. Adharma means unrighteous action, action forbidden by religion. Dharma means pious actions prescribed by religion, as for instance, charity to the poor, feeding the Brahmins, and so on. So knowing the secret that Kali is one with highest Brahman, I have discarded once for all both dharma and adharma, both righteous actions and unrighteous actions. Vijay, what remains if one renounces both dharma and adharma? We are given up both the righteous actions and the unrighteous actions, then what remains after that? Master, pure love of God. Pure love of God. I pray to the Divine Mother, O Mother, here, take thy dharma, here, take thy adharma, and give me pure love for thee. Here, take thy virtue, here, take thy vice, and give me pure love for thee. Here, take thy knowledge, here, take thy ignorance, and give me pure love for thee. All this is pairs of opposite. They go together. If there is knowledge, there is ignorance. If there is virtue, there is vice. If there is righteousness, there is unrighteousness. So Sri Ramakrishna says he offered everything to mother and asked only for pure love. And with the pure love, what do you get? You get mother. And if you have mother, you got everything. You don't have to ask for this and this. As they say, if you in those days, or when Sri Ramakrishna speaks about rule of kings. So if you get in the favor of king, you don't ask for little of vegetables, fruit, or some grocery from the king. You got the king's favor. He'll give everything. I pray to the Divine Mother. Here, take the dharma, adharma. Give me pure love for thee. You see, I didn't ask even for knowledge or public recognition. Give everything to mother. When one renounces both dharma and adharma, there remains only pure love of God. The love that is stainless, motiveless, and that one feels only for the sake of love. Love for love's sake. Not for any, why do you love God? To get these things or that thing? No, for the sake of love. Because I loved God. There is a saying which it seems Yudhishthira has said when to the Queen Draupadi, look at the Himalayas, majestic. I love that. Do I ask anything in return? No, because it is majestic. I love it. That is love for love's sake, not asking anything in return. Love It's pure love. Some beautiful flower we see. We love that. Do we ask anything in return from the flower? We just enjoy it, enjoy the beauty. It's love for love's sake. Not asking anything in return. A Brahma devotee. Is God different from his Shakti? Master. After attaining perfect knowledge, one realizes that they are not different. They are the same, like gem and its brilliance. Thinking of the gem, one cannot but think of its brilliance. Again, they are like milk and its whiteness. Thinking of one, you must also think of the other. They cannot separate them. But you cannot realize this non-duality before the attainment of perfect knowledge. Till we attain perfect knowledge, God and his power are separate for us. That is why in Hinduism, all the gods have got, we say, divine consort. What does it mean? The power of God. How do you express the power in Sanskrit? Is the Sanskrit word for power is Shakti, and in Sanskrit all the nouns have got either masculine, feminine, or neuter gender. Shakti is feminine gender, so Shakti, the power, is represented as female. So all gods have got their companion, divine consort. That's to show it's the power of God, that power of that particular aspect of God. Are they different? After attaining perfect knowledge, one realizes that they are not different. Till you get the perfect knowledge, you think, oh, they are different. Like Vishnu and Lakshmi, Shiva and Parvati, Brahma and Saraswati. We have got all these gods and their consorts. They think they are different. But once you have the divine perfect knowledge, then they realize, no, they are not different. They are the same. And we cannot separate them. Thinking of the gem, they are the same, like gem and its brilliance. Gem always is bright, giving its brilliance. Thinking of the gem, one cannot but think of its brilliance. Again, they are like milk and its whiteness. Thinking of the one, you must also think of the other, like fire and its power to burn. You cannot separate fire and its power to burn. As soon as you think of the fire, you consciously or unconsciously, the idea of its power to burn comes to your mind. They are one and the same. But you cannot realize this non-duality before the attainment of perfect knowledge. Attaining perfect knowledge, one goes into samadhi, beyond the 24 cosmic principles. Therefore, the principle of I does not exist in that stage. A man cannot describe in words what he feels in samadhi. Coming down, he can just give a hint about it. I come down 100 cubits, as it were, when I say Om after samadhi. Brahman is beyond the injunctions of the Vedas and cannot be described. There, neither I nor you exist. What happens after attaining perfect knowledge? Sri Ramakrishna says, after attaining perfect knowledge, only then you can know that Brahman and his power are one and the same. Attaining perfect knowledge, one goes into samadhi. There, I does not exist. They cannot say I. And he says, I had to come down from that stage of samadhi so much, so down, even to utter the word, the sound Om. Sri Ramakrishna tried to explain what happens in samadhi, tried to his disciples. And he was explaining how the mind rises from the different levels on the mind, going up to the heart center. You see the light, filled with light. You are feeling the presence of God. You will feel so happy. Then the mind rises to the throat. You don't want to hear anything other than God. Talk of God. You talk only about God. Then the mind rises up to the level between the eyebrows. Then you see, as so you can touch like the flame inside the lantern, but you can't because of the shade is there. You can't touch the flame. You feel as though you can touch it, but you can't. Then it goes between on the top of the head, Sahasrara. What happens? He can't say. He has already gone into samadhi. And then he comes down. I want to tell. Again, he tries. Again, as soon as he goes beyond the forehead, his mind goes and emerges in Brahman. Who will explain then? The salt doll trying to measure the depth of the ocean has become one with the ocean. And then who will explain? There is no way to explain what happens in samadhi. Therefore, the principle of I does not exist at that stage. A man cannot describe in words what he feels in samadhi. So when you read the books like Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, oh, samadhi. What happened in samadhi? No description. You have to experience that. You cannot describe what happens there. Brahman is beyond the injunctions of the Vedas and cannot be described. That's why Sri Ramakrishna says Brahman is the only entity which is not polluted. See, we have the idea if you touch anything with the tongue, it's polluted. And we describe about God, different gods and goddesses, we all using the tongue, we speak, but nothing about God. Brahman, we cannot describe. What Brahman is? No, nobody has said what Brahman is. Only they have said what Brahman is not. Brahman is not this, that we say. But what Brahman is, nobody has been able to describe. So, Brahman is unpolluted, Sri Ramakrishna says. What Brahman is cannot be described. Thank you.